I'm Leigh Brown. This is Crazy Shit in Real Estate. And as you know, we talk about everything over here. Today, it's a mix of normal real estate and property management and investing and education. So it's an all-purpose episode with Sarah Miskelly, who's coming to us from America's Top Hat, known as Canada. Enjoy the conversation and especially enjoy the links in the show notes. And I'll see you on the other side. You're on mute, Miss Sarah.
Can you hear me okay?
You are. Good morning.
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for coming on the show with me.
Yeah, no problem. I was, binging it last night.
And you have a flair for the fact that everything's all over the place and we don't sell commercials here. We like to dig in and offer some good stories and some little information along the way.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with that. Let's just have a good conversation.
Exactly. So tell me who you are, where you're located, what you do in the real estate space. Give us a little bit of the Sarah story.
Yeah, and we're not recording it, are we?
Well, I'm recording the whole thing because I like all things conversations.
Okay. So I'll just get started then. So I grew up in Toronto. So I grew up with my single mom in an apartment building and I met my dad at 3. And when I turned 3, it was kind of that rich dad, poor dad story where it literally changed my life. He was in property management. He had his first job as an electrician, but his second job was renovating and managing small multifamily properties. And I started doing that when I was a kid, helping him paint, clean, and all that fun stuff. And at 16, he actually passed away, which is really freaking hard. And I had to start managing his portfolio. So I had to deal with contractors, all these older men, like a just 16-year-old girl.
16-year-old property managing. Holy crap.
Yeah. It was no joke. I was so out of my element, but I was forced to grow up fast, right? Like that's like, just do what you got to do. But what it really demonstrated to me was the power of real estate. I was able to live in this property. We were kind of house hacking, which is a cool term now. But we were living in one of the units and the other units were tenanted. So it covered your living expenses, right? Which was fantastic.
And frankly, I think that's still the best way into home ownership in an expensive market is figuring out a different way around it besides the picture you see in the movies or on TV of a traditional single family home, 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath.
Yeah.
Little yard. It looks a little different for a lot of people, but real estate does change lives. And so I'm curious, at what point did you go from 16-year-old property manager to somebody who looked at real estate as a career and not just oh crap, I have to do this because I have to do this?
Yeah, so I was kind of like your idealistic millennial. I went to university, which was also, partially financed by the passive income from our assets. And after I finished school, I was like, oh, what am I going to do with my life? I had no friggin' idea. And I was like, hey, look, I'm already in this world of real estate. Why not just get into real estate sales? See what that's like. My dad kind of gave me that entrepreneurial spirit, got into sales, and it ended up being a very good pick for me. So I was with Keller Williams in Toronto. I got top agent under 30 for 3 years in a row. I was making $400,000 a year. I was crushing it as a realtor. And I really loved that kind of aggressive hustle of it and just being immersed in the world of real estate even deeper, right?
Right. So what were you studying in school, by the way? Was it anything related to real estate or?
No. All of us just go and take these really, really random BA, like social sciences, communications. I just kind of took something to check it off the box. I knew I wasn't going to be an engineer. I'm not good at math. I wasn't trying to do anything with a big title, although my dad wanted me to be a lawyer or doctor. But I just did a BA because it was what you're supposed to do.
And check. All right. So in my show, we have a lot of listeners that are not in real estate, and we have a lot that are in real estate. And because the not in real estate people are very fascinated by what we do in real estate, which would explain of course, the proliferation of HGTV kind of shows, I want you to give my real estate people a tip for how you built your success so quickly in the business. How did you become somebody who could actually make money in this business? Because a lot of people who are either stuck in a rut or coming into the business don't have the foggiest idea how you get to a level of success. So what's the one thing you did as a younger realtor that got you to a level of success?
I would say there's 2 things. One, I was coachable. I just listened to what other people who had achieved success told me what to do, essentially. And I followed the systems and models that were provided by my brokerage. I know that sounds kind of boring, but when you just follow simple steps and you listen to what other people have to say, you can be successful and work hard. We're not going to this is a lot of freaking work. It wasn't easy, but success is simple, not easy.
Okay, it's so funny that you say that because that's totally applicable to the investing side as well. So Now that you've gotten into a space where you really talk about investing as your primary conversation point, what do you say to people who are inquiring about investing? They aren't sure if they want to invest in real estate. They're scared of it. They heard some stories. How do you get people started on the pathway without them going wild and losing all their money? Because we've seen that happen too. And especially with the way that syndications have grown in the last few years, they can make sense. I find that a lot of people don't have any idea what it is, who to trust. And it might be beyond the sophistication level of somebody who's at the starting line. So talk to me about the starting line that you look at for real estate investing, whether you're talking to a regular person or somebody in real estate.
Yeah. So first and foremost, you want to keep it simple. Once again, what are their goals? Why do they want to invest in real estate? Are they looking for like passive, like cash flow, or are they looking for like long-term wealth building? Because that's going to first determine like which vehicle in real estate you're going to go into. Because there's a dizzying array of options. But if you look at your foundational like needs, in addition to saying, okay, how much time do I actually have to commit? So when you look at what you're looking for in terms of cash flow or long-term wealth building, like you don't need the cash. And then you also look at like how much time do I actually have to do this damn thing? Like I didn't have time when I was a realtor to go and manage Airbnb. Like it's not happening. And then if you're getting a property manager, it's cutting into your profitability. So you have to really understand the core needs that you're looking for and then pick a strategy in that regard. So syndications were very attractive to me because I can hand my money over to people that I get to know and decide that I trust, and I can just get passive returns versus if you're going to go out and manage a place, you're going to have to, find tenants, deal with maintenance issues. And if you have the time to do that, then go for it because you're going to get that like long-term equity building and appreciation if it's a good market. But I think it's less about the strategy and it's more about the person and what they need in their life.
So first of all, high five for stopping yourself when you said passive income and turning it into cash flow, because for a lot of my audience, they hear the phrase passive income all the time and they're like, I don't really know if I should ask. But thank you, Sarah. Y'all, that's the money that lands in your account that you can then choose what to do with. And hopefully you do choose to pay taxes and report it so you don't get in trouble. And I also love that you talk about the time factor. Like I do long-term rentals and I hire a property manager because I don't want to deal with all those issues. And I've never done the short-term rentals or Airbnbs because all I can think in my head is I stay in them. I check in on a Monday and I check out on a Wednesday, and holy crap, I'm going to have to talk to these people, which that's going to be a time suck. And then I'm going to have to change the code, and then I'm going to have to change the linens, and then I've got to make sure it's cute enough. And so it panics me. And so I've still never gone into short-term rentals because of that. But I have some really good friends and clients. That's their primary stream of income now because they manage it themselves and they find it to be delightful. So there's also a personality piece that goes in with that time factor. So when you talk about these different kinds of real estate investments and the fact that there are so many options out there, what's Sarah's favorite? Here's the criteria. If you don't care if you have a lot of cash coming in, but you don't want to be out of pocket, so you want to at least break even, and you want to find something that 20 years from now will wind up being a good call because you don't have to cash it in right away, and you're a busy person, whether you're a real estate busy person or a executive busy person, what would be the avenue you'd take now that I've given you those criteria?
Yeah, so I'm going to say something that not a lot of people will tell you in syndications. I think if you're going to go the syndication route or you're going to go and purchase your own property, there's going to be upfront research. Like no matter what, there's going to be a time commitment upfront to determine either with syndications who the good people are to work with, vetoing them, talking to your accountant, seeing, okay, how does this work with my tax strategy? And then if you're looking for your own investment vehicle, you're going to have to talk to a realtor, find a good realtor, find a good property. They're going to help you with the numbers if they're an investment focused realtor. But just know either way, there's going to be a bit of a time commitment. So I don't want to like sugarcoat this and say that everything is just like nothing, right? But I would say the biggest difference is if you're going to go the path of owning your own property, you need to know in your market, if you don't want to manage it yourself, like your criteria said, you don't have the time to do all that stuff, you need to make sure that it at least like breaks even at some level. Otherwise, you're going to be out of pocket. And if it's going to break even, you're going to need to hire a property management, like you said you have, right? And they would take care of everything for you. But I think those two options are really fantastic. It's just knowing either is going to take some upfront research. And if you own your own place, then obviously you're getting that like long-term equity building. You can refi it. There's so many options. If you're going syndications, it is like actually totally passive after that uptime, the upfront research. And that would just be you putting the money in, setting it and forgetting it. And you're going to get checks right to your bank, or I should say wires right into your bank account quarterly. And then when the asset sells. Whereas when you own your own place, you're going to get rental income, but like hopefully that would be monthly. Hopefully if you have a good property manager, they're kind of managing the books for you, which like majors do that. So it depends on what your comfort level is. But I'd say if in your city, like it's not affordable for the model of owning your place, you are going to have to go to another location and find people there, which may just be a little bit too much work for somebody and all that research. That's why syndications are kind of the power play. And I've just done them for so long in various ways, whether that's like mortgage syndications or apartment syndications. There's even vineyard syndications now. Like there's a lot of syndications out there.
And by the way, y'all, there's a whole bunch of links over here to some other episodes about syndications. And the reason you hear about that a lot is because we're in a crowdfunding world. You think about Kickstarter and Indiegogo, then you think about Airbnb, which is the share economy, Uber is a share economy. Syndication all comes out of that. So here's the best way to think about it. If you are remotely awake, then you know that we are heading into some really tricky economic times. We have home buyers that have put the kibosh on buying because they have interest rate shock. We have sellers who have found out suddenly their houses aren't dipped in 14 karat gold. And as a realtor, you are still trying to keep up with the business you have and trying to answer questions in the meantime, while also managing sky high fuel cost at the pump. Never fear, because my new video course is coming out right now, and it's called How to Dominate During a Recession. Look, I've been a realtor for 22 years. I came through the last recession by the skin of my teeth. Actually, not even the skin of my teeth. My business went up every year during the Great Recession, and it's all because of education and getting in front of the curve so that I could serve as many neighbors as possible and help them weather this storm as well. So this course is 4 modules. There might even be some bonus content for you. And I have priced it so that everybody can get a hold of it and go out there and do great things for the American dream and for home ownership. The price is $199. Click on this link. If you take action, you can be the one who brings great information and great solutions, and also paired with realism and optimism into the marketplace that you serve. I am delighted to bring this out as quickly as possible because, friends, there's no time like the present to make sure our neighbors are stronger and we protect the American dream. It's a whole bunch of people putting their money together and then letting some really great people do things with it. So that's the inaccurate, or not accurate, it's inelegant description. So let me ask you this, because there's a lot of them out there. And the minute somebody says this word out loud in front of their phone, they're going to have, oh, look at this, because our phones spy on us and send us all the syndication ideas. How does Sarah go about evaluating who is a good person at the operator level of the syndication to trust? And what are the factors you look for that would give you some kind of comfort sending your money to that crowd? And by the way, y'all, I know that you're the good listeners by now, because all the people looking for a silver bullet and a quick buck have already left. And y'all are the ones that have heard Sarah say multiple times now, you have to do the research and you have to do the work. So now we're going to talk about what the research and the work looks like, and the couple of things that would tell you comfort or red alert.
Yeah. So I'm going to say, let's be real. People are going to go on Google. You're going to Google it first. Like, let's just be real here. Okay. I would say you got to like do this, like getting integrated in the world of it. It does take a little bit of time to see who the key players are. That would be kind of my first move, is like figure out who the key players are. Bigger Pockets forums is a really great resource. There's going to be some really great people talking about syndicators they've invested, that they've had success with. Like, you really want to find out from investors like who've gone and put their money in and gotten their money out. But the key questions I would say after you've dabbled online, because I just know that's what people are going to do, is finding out their track record. So the question to ask is, how many deals have you gone full cycle on? I'm going to simplify that terminology. Full cycle literally means you as an investor put in $100K. Okay. Let's just say the deal was 5 years. After those 5 years, you got your $100K back, and you also got the profit that you were promised as per, let me just rephrase that. Promise is never the right word, because we know in investing, there's always risk and nothing.
You were believing in. You believed in.
You're believing in. Yes, that's kind of what contractually what you're believing in for this return. But you've gotten your initial capital back, the money you put in, and you've also got your profit back. So you've been fulfilled. And you want to know if that sponsorship team, how many times they've done that, have they successfully returned investors' capital? And you kind of want to know like how long they've been doing it for. I mean, we all hear about that Houston horror story from like a couple months ago that was all over the media about these defaulting multifamily assets. And when you dig a bit deeper, it doesn't mean the whole multifamily space is like crafty. It just means that you have to really veto and verify that those operators that you're working with know what they're doing. And a lot of that time, it comes with being in the business for 10 plus years or 5+ years and having gone full cycle and having a high number of units. And also who are the investors or the service providers that they work with that you could talk to and be like, hey, look, like, do you like working with these people? And all of that said, that's like the hard data. There is a component of it where you're going to be like, you know what? Do I vibe with these people? Like, do they feel like these are my kind of people? Like, do I relate to them? Because you're probably going to talk to quite a few syndicators once you start to like dive into this world. And even when I do this as well, right? When I find a place to invest, I'm going to talk to a few people. There's going to be somebody for some reason, like once all the data checks out, that like I feel good about. And like that, I think that has to have at some level, like a part of it. And, you know, nothing's ever perfect in life, but if we can't trust people, like where are we at? Right. So there is a component of that, but I'd say you want to just back it up by like data and facts.
Okay, that's probably my favorite little thing you said there was to call their service providers. What a smart move. Because they're going to tell you if they even pay the bills or how they are to work with. And what a great way to get some insights without having it muddied by somebody else's opinions or their own need to have you jump on board. All right, Sarah. So in our show here, my viewers and listeners love to hear some of the inner stories about real estate. And so since you've operated both as a property manager at the age of 16, which is insane, and as a practicing agent and as an investor, you've done a lot of stuff in the space, which means you have to have seen something that makes you want to pour yourself an adult beverage at the end of the day and say, y'all are never going to believe this. And you just dropped your head, which means it's going to be a really good one. So what's my audience going to hear about the life of Sarah?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, there's instances when I have my asset, like my properties where there's like drunk people that didn't go to the right home. They went to the wrong home. They were drunk after night and peed all over the stairway. Like that was fun. When I was a realtor as well, I had people that the day before closing, they ended up to get divorced. And then we're dealing with like all the lawsuits and stuff and them trying to like figure out where this asset's going to go and am I getting paid? That's always fun. I had instances where like I was a young woman as a realtor, I mean, I'm kind of no nonsense, but you're going to deal with like some shady, not so great men sometimes. I had a guy one time who was just like, into me and then he like fired me even though I'd worked with him for months. He's just like, I can't manage this anymore. Like I am attracted to you. And I'm like, well, kind of like, screw you, buddy, because I just worked for you for all this time. You can't control yourself. So there's just like many instances from like every shade of those experiences, but like that's life, right? You just kind of like pick up and just keep on going.
Okay, so I've never heard of a realtor getting fired because the client was too attracted to them. And
yeah.
Anybody watching or listening that thinks that's common, I need you to drop it in the comments because if that's common, then it's a sad state of affairs that people don't know how to compartmentalize the segments of life. And you worked for free all that time and just going to wager a wild guess here. You weren't slightly interested in him in all of this process. Maybe a different little romantic story. And so here we are. But the drunk people peeing on the stairs, I'm pretty sure we've seen too much pee in the real estate business, all of us, and wish we had not. And divorce the day before closing. Well, divorce is never a welcome occasion in anybody's life, I think. And the day before closing, communication would have been nice. I'm going to guess they probably tried to keep it inside, keep it bottled up, and get through the closing, and you can't get through it. All right, Sarah. So if somebody wants to follow up with you and learn more about what you're doing in the real estate space, whether it's on the education and investing side, or they just need a good Canadian input opinion from somebody, how do they find Sarah?
Yeah, so 2 ways. You can go to my website, which is HyleeCapital.com, and I'm sure it'll be in the show notes. I do also have a passive real estate wealth summit coming up in September. It's virtual, and it's really for one of my big passions is women, getting more women invested in real estate. I just think there's a huge wealth transfer that's happening from baby boomers to women. There's about 30 trillion coming by 2030, and women are really stepping into their power and learning more about how to invest, how to build wealth for themselves, And it's going to be a big, big shift we're going to see. So I'm really here to empower women to get involved since I've kind of been blessed to be in this space for a long time. That's going to be coming up in September. And I'm very, very excited because I have a crazy lineup of high-level female speakers that are going to be at that event.
And that's all online, so they can watch it.
Yeah, you pop in.
All right. Well, I will have all of the show notes set up to include not just her regular work website, but you should probably also check into the summit, especially if you are at the edges of investing and you want to learn what better way than to hear from active investors from the comfort of your computer so you don't feel judged, because I'm pretty sure you won't be judged in the learning process because all of us are here for the same reason, to help make you stronger when you logged into this podcast or anything else so that you can go do great things in your own life and build your own empire, just as Sarah is doing. Sarah, thank you so much for coming on the show and giving us some good information, some encouragement to go do the work, and really great tips. Appreciate you coming on and sharing.
Yeah, awesome. It's so great to be here.
All right, friends, make sure that you say something nice about Sarah down in the comments or tell me if her experience is normal. And I can't wait to hear how many of you sign up for the summit. Hey, Sarah, can you give us like a sign up code or something so we know how many of the crazy shit people show up?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, well, we'll get you a little tracking code and then y'all will know who each other is. And make sure that you check out some of the other episodes and come back and see us because you never know what you're going to find over here. See ya.
So if you found value in this episode, please like and subscribe to this channel, turn on the bell, and catch another amazing episode by clicking above. Crazy Shit in Real Estate is also available in all of your normal podcast apps. So if that's where you like to hang out, go find me, click subscribe, and most importantly, leave me a review that says you think I'm awesome, my guests are awesome, or this content is just exactly what you were looking for. And then, by the way, if there's something you need, you want to learn about something, you can comment below anytime. You can also send me a direct message if you need to remain anonymous. No judgment. But anyway, I'll only judge if you forget to subscribe and click. I'll see you next time.